Man's highest duty is to protect animals from cruelty. It is not I who am strong, it is reason, it is truth. If people can just love each other a little bit, they can be so happy. I have but one passion: to enlighten those who have been kept in the dark, in the name of humanity which has suffered so much and is entitled to happiness. My fiery protest is simply the cry of my very soul. Governments are suspicious of literature because it is a force that eludes them. Everything is only a dream. These young people naturally grow up with ideas different from ours, for they are born for times when we shall no longer be here. Respectable people, what bastards. The fate of animals is of greater importance to me than the fear of appearing ridiculous. It is indissolubly connected with the fate of men. I am spending delightful afternoons in my garden, watching everything living around me. As I grow older, I feel everything departing, and I love everything with more passion. Don't go looking at me like that because you'll wear your eyes out. Lovers are made by a kiss. Perfection is such a nuisance that I often regret having cured myself of using tobacco. The road to Lourdes is littered with crutches, but not one wooden leg. If I cannot overwhelm with my quality, I will overwhelm with my quantity. Violence has never prospered. You can't remake the world in a day. Anyone who promises to change everything for you all at once is either a fool or a rogue. A God of kindness would be charitable to all. Your God of wrath and punishment is but a monstrous fantasy. There are two men inside the artist, the poet and the craftsman. One is born a poet, one becomes a craftsman. Through the centuries, the history of peoples is but a lesson in mutual tolerance. In my view, you cannot claim to have seen something until you have photographed it. The past was but the cemetery of our illusions. One simply stubbed one's toes on the gravestones. My fiery protest is simply the cry of my very soul. When you have a sorrow that is too great, it leaves no room for any other. I am an artist. I am here to live out loud. Did not one spend the first half of one's days in dreams of happiness, and the second half in regrets and terrors? Why is it that my heart is so touched whenever I meet a dog lost in our noisy streets? An entire lifetime would not be long enough for you to exhaust the glance of the young harvest girl. Since the same human mire remains beneath, does not all civilization reduce itself to the superiority of smelling nice and living well? The conclusion does not belong to the artist. One forges one's style on the terrible anvil of daily deadlines. Blow the candle out? I don't need to see what my thoughts look like. Oh, that's typical of you modern young men. You've nibbled at science and it's made you ill. Classical education has deformed everything and has imposed upon us as geniuses, men of correct facile talent who follow the beaten track. The vague torment of ambition. It is not necessary that one should humble oneself to deserve assistance. It is sufficient that one should suffer. In love, as in speculation, there is much filth. In love also, people think only of their own gratification. Yes, live life with every fiber of one's being. Surrender oneself to it with no thoughts of rebellion. The day is not far off when one ordinary carrot may be pregnant with revolution. A new dynasty is never founded without a struggle. Blood makes good manure.